Hello and welcome to the Making Musical Quantum Leaps podcast, where we're here to support you in taking your singing skills to the next level. I'm your host, Coach Worship, and I'm thrilled to have my co-host, Jamie, with me.
In this podcast, we will take you on a 30-day podcast marathon, teaching you everything you need to know about diction for singers. Diction is the art of pronouncing words clearly and expressively, using your voice parts to make sound and speech.
Diction is essential for singers as it helps you share your message, emotions, and style with your audience. Each day, we will explore a different topic related to diction, such as vowels, consonants, syllables, stress, intonation, accent, dialect, and more. We will also give you practical tips and exercises to improve your diction and singing performance.
By the end of this podcast marathon, you will have a better understanding of how your voice works and how to use it effectively. So join us on this exciting journey of learning and singing. You can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify or on any other listening platforms. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Making Musical Quantum Leaps podcast, or email us at joinedenSchoolofSounds@gmail.com if you have any questions or feedback.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm Chama Chukuma by name from Ebonyi State, Abakaliki, currently residing at Kaduna State, Kaduna. I time it a very great privilege and an opportunity to be a partaker of this 30 days marathon podcast. In these few days of the podcast, I've come to learn so much about my voice. I've come to learn about dictions, cursives. I've come to learn about the hit factor, your accents, name it. I've learned so much, and my shout out goes to Coach Worship, Coach Jewel, Coach K Vocals, and to Jamie. These persons are so blessed, and they blessed us in massive ways than I could even imagine. So my encouragement to those with me on this journey is to not stop learning. We should keep learning as they unleash whatever knowledge they have about these things to us. And I also want to advise that one has to get a jotter by his or her side when listening to this podcast, because there are very important things you just have to put down when listening. These few days of this podcast have been amazing. They've been great, and I'm so glad I have the opportunity to be listening to this and to be a partaker. Thank you and bye.
Hi guys! Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time you be listening to this pod. I am super excited. Today is the 25th day. Wow. Okay guys, it's been an awesome experience, and I'm really glad I still have you listening to me right now. It's not easy, trust me. 25 good days of consistency, learning every single day. It's not easy, but here we are, and I'm so grateful that you take out your time to listen to my rantings every day. So thank you so much. Now we're moving into a very beautiful topic. I love to call it the seventh sense. We have actually 5 senses, and there's this extra one that we add on it. We call it common sense. So we have the sense of smell, the sense of sight, the sense of touch or feeling, the sense of taste. What other sense have I forgotten? And hearing as well. Okay. There's also what people like saying, especially Africans. They be like, common sense. There's such a thing as common sense. Well, I'm adding mine today. There's also a thing known as your musical sense. Your musical sense is your judge. Okay, your musical sense knows what is right from what is wrong when you're singing, and you need to build your musical sense. You need to build it. You need to train it like a baby. There's something called machine learning in computer science. Here, I'm a computer science student. There's something called machine learning in computer science where the computer takes data, processes them, and learns from these data. It's the same thing with this your seventh sense. It takes data from music from year round and begins to process it. It begins to process it. It processes it and knows which is good and which is bad. I really hope you got that, so I'm not just rambling. It processes it from which is good and which is bad. So how do you build it? It is simple, by listening to quality music. One beautiful thing about quality music is there's something, no matter how diverse, no matter how different they are, there are unique qualities, unique characteristics that is similar amongst all good music. There's something that is similar. What your musical sense does is it gathers all this information. You do not know that you're gathering this information. It gathers all this information and puts them together so that when you're singing, it begins to apply these rules. It begins to apply these similar characteristics that is found in all good music. For example, flat notes is not popular among all good music. So when you're singing, your seventh sense knows this sounds flat, so it's not. Let me do something about it. This same thing applies for diction. So your seventh sense is the one that will tell you, okay, I'm picking this instead of this because this is commonly used among all good songs that I have listened to. That's your seventh sense speaking. So you know here, beautiful sounds better than beautiful. Okay, beautiful here sounds better than beautiful. Okay, mighty here sounds better than mighty. Or mighty here in this song sounds better than mighty. Or battle in this song sounds better than battle. Or wrestle in this song sounds better than wrestle. It's not like any of them is wrong. It's just that one is more appropriate than the other. It's the same thing that applies to learning riffs and runs. When you're learning your riffs and runs, you do not learn them or score riffs and runs because when you're singing, you'll say, hey, let me put this riff here to make sense here. No. When you're learning riffs and runs, you're storing them in your bank. And that bank is your seventh sense, your musical sense. So now when you're singing, you don't have to think about it. Your musical sense knows just where to put those riffs and runs. It's as simple as that. To wrap up this part, I want to tell you that you should apply this seventh sense training to all parts of your fundamentals as you keep growing, because like Coach Simi said, there's a lot of fundamentals apart from diction. This seventh sense applies to all of it, even down to your stage presence. The more you watch musical performances, the more you learn to manage the stage. I never learned to manage the stage, I just learned by watching. The more you watch, your musical sense, your seventh sense comes into play. It gathers all the information it has learned from all these videos you have watched and help you just find yourself doing these stuffs because you have watched them over time, which is why I often advise singers, go on YouTube, watch live performances, watch live ministration. It will help your stage presence. So this does not just apply to diction, it applies to tonality, it applies to your breathing, it applies to your phrasing, it applies to your resonance, it applies to down to your transitions. So guys, build your musical sense. Build your musical sense. You cannot be listening to trash music and expect to have. You cannot be listening to Niger jams and expect to be good at riffs and runs. You will naturally be able to only do things that are done in Niger jams. You cannot be listening to songs that have just riffs and runs and expect that you'll be able to do Niger jams. It will not work, because every time you're trying to settle for Niger jams, those riffs are your seventh sense is always trying to include those riffs and runs. So no matter how you try to sound natural, you will not sound natural. It applies to all parts of your music. If you want to learn rhythm too, like rhythmic sense, like how to sing on beat, you have to listen to songs that have complex rhythm patterns. You You have to listen to, if you want to learn how to use your head voice, it's all like that. Listen to songs that engage it, because what you're doing is, even if you're not intentionally or consciously following them, learning and jotting things down, what is happening is your seventh sense, like I call it, your musical sense, is taking notes. And like machine learning, it's actually collecting data and learning from these data. That'll be all for today. I am really sorry Jamiel is not going to be around for this podcast, so I guess I have to give you the word for today. So, our quote for today is "Music comes from a place that we don't know" by Chris Martin. But think about it. Is it true? Does your music really come from a place that you do not know? Well, that's left for you to find out. And our song for today is Jehovah Jireh by Jacqueline Carr. So that'll be all for today. Bye. I love you guys so much. Mwah.